Hey, how are you? Everybody's Monday. Wow, every Monday, how busy you are. I've been thinking about every Monday, and the most appreciative thing today actually is I finally exclude all this kind of distractions and focused on my writing for 2 hours. I think it's around 2 hours. It's not so easy, right? And I'm writing my book, Abundance Code. I wrote a book, quite a brief book, actually, 2016, that's 3 years ago. And during that time, I had developed a book. It's for really a lead magnet. It's for giveaway. But this time, I'm rewriting it based on all my writing experience over 10 years. And I actually initiated my first writing about the happiness wisdom 10 years ago. And I did not finish that one because during that time, my life had a dramatic change. I shared that life story in my NASDAQ speaking, and then I feel like I was not satisfied with what I did. And even though I was thinking that it's quite inspiring, even my editor did a great efforts and helped me and spent hundreds of dollars on the editing. But then I suspended that one. I think I feel like my life changed, and everything is just like my perspective, my understanding, the wisdom, everything is I'm getting to another level. So I suspended the first book, and now I'm getting all this kind of all these years of experiences and wisdom I learned and inspirations I get into this new book, Abundance Code. So, and everyone said that said that writing is not easy, right? Writing a book is a painful experience. Even though like Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and Dean Graziosi. Oh my God, his last name is so difficult. Graziosi, and all of them, they've already been well-known best-selling authors, and even they were joking to each other that writing a book is a painful process. It's like really squeeze yourself out, squeeze your life out, and it's just not one day. You really spend days. Some of them spend maybe years to really get things out. For me, it's just already over 10 years through my coaching practice. I really need to get all this kind of inspirations and learnings and wisdom experiences and learned through the 10 years. I need to get them down. Really need to get them out into one book, into one formal book, publish a book. I've already had quite a few books, but most of them are ebooks, not really published book. So this is my first time I really want a hard copy book, a published book that I can put on Amazon, and I could put on my, for example, my funnel, and can send to people, and people can put on their hands and open it and read and give me feedback. And that will be a totally different feeling, right? Everybody said that unless you become a published author, you are not really you do not have that authority yet. You need to become the author to have that authority. So maybe that's true. We will see. So that's my exploration. So today I'm really happy that I could concentrate that 2 hours to really to think. Really, writing is not so easy. I now just feel like many people, they feel like they are afraid of public speaking, and now I feel like writing a book is actually more difficult than public speaking, because public speaking, once you really organize your language and your logic, and you just speak and share the stories, right? But writing is the most difficult one. Actually, writing a new one from scratch may be easier than writing something based on what you've already done some part previously, because now you have to reorganize your logic and rethink about everything occurred in your life, and put the things, review them, the thing you've already written, and put more logic and wisdom, more depth into it, and no mention about the editing part, right? So that's really the most a testing process of our writing. But at the same time, I just feel like writing is a great process. Many people love speaking, because the speaking maybe they've already shared their thoughts, inspirations out. But writing is even go to further deeper process, and really get at that, as I said, is get your life, live your life to a fullest. because what you were thinking, for example, a level of 5 or 6 of your speaking, but for writing you will go deeper to 9 or 10 or maybe even further, and you will rediscover yourself. Quite some part you may did not even thinking about it, but when you write it in your words and typing it on a computer or handwriting it on a paper, everything you reorganize that is further process, really get into that further depths of your thoughts. So this is a rediscovery of myself. So I really enjoyed it. This just record myself years ago when I was since when I remember since actually the middle school. I had been a lover of writing. I loved writing articles, but during that time, it's majority to answer the teacher's assignment. It's never really inspirational, fully freestyle writing. So my real love for writing started from I think the beginning of a few years before my coaching. Actually, I started to write my journal. Oh yeah, now I remember. My real love of writing is really since I became a poet. When I fell into love with my husband, at that time is my friend, my first love in the college. So I started writing poems. And when you are in a romantic love, you really get all this kind of the best status, the best inspirations, and your heart is full of love. And that time you are just a born writer and poet. And so creative, and every day I can't stop my that kind of a flowing of my inspirations, and every day I could almost write a poem. So during that time I feel like writing poems and writing essays and writing my personal reflections. That's the best way to connect with myself and to know where I am, and to reconnect me with my faith of God, and also rediscovering myself as well. I think that's still not years. Wow, that's many years ago. That's after I graduated from a college. My college major was computer science, so that was totally not romantic or any very creative at all. So, but after that, once I fell into love and started my freestyle writing, I totally get into another freedom zone. So I think that's the time I fell into love of writing. But I have been a lover of reading since I could remember, maybe in my elementary school. Since that time I was so in love with reading. I read so many books and always thirsty to look for new books and good authors. I still remember my first favorite book, the thick book, is from Shakespeare. I did not know that during that time he was so famous. So after I read it, I thought, oh, this is the best book so far I read. I think I was only 3rd or 4th grader in the elementary school. Yeah, so that's really a great book for that age, right? So since then I fell into love of reading books. And then the next step, very naturally, right, start to really writing my stuff is really since I graduated from college. So all these years, and 10 years ago I started my coaching business. I've been so creative and writing my articles, blogging articles, and started to writing my book about the happiness wisdom. And I remember during the first few years I was still very into writing. Just the recent few years, I'm more and more into speaking, getting on a Facebook Live, getting on a public speaking, and then I eventually, through that kind of it's another challenging process. I'm now falling into love with speaking as well. Just like now, I could just quickly use my talk to connect with people and show up and genuinely to connect with people, and that's the way I love it as well. So compared with this way. And writing seems more really it's a long process. It's really use more thoughts, more bring energies, but definitely worth it. So now I'm writing my book. I'm finding that kind of a passion and love back in writing. So, and at the same time, it's quite interesting. I reviewed some of my live speaking and get some inspirations, remind me what I already shared through my talking. and I could put that into my writing as well. So it's all the things are so like relevant to each other, but really the writing itself, and especially during the nighttime. I love that nighttime, everybody's sleeping, most people are sleeping, my kids are sleeping, and I could find that a quiet time to just stay by myself, connect with me and the universe, and fully immerse into that kind of a writing genius zone, that kind of a wisdom zone. That's the most enjoyable process. I know it's not easy, right? Especially my English is not my first language, so I need to really chew the words really to find out what's the right word. Sometimes in one sentence I have to keep changing quite a few times to make sure like a grammar is right, and the words I'm using is at least the best words I could find to express my meaning. And of course after that I will find editors to help me review my reading. And so I'm still in this process. I don't know when I can finish it. I really hope I could finish as quickly as possible, and at the same time I make sure the quality is great. But so much to write. It's just it's right at the beginning when you are planning your content of index, there are so many chapters I really want to share, and once I plan this part, and then I want add more. So it's also like a process to decide how much should I write, and how much I could use to really teach. So how much I could really help people to understand themselves, and how much I could use my further service to help people to understand. And because it's not for the wisdom part, for the inspiration part, for the life story part, I definitely share in the book. And for some other like a skillful part and strategy part, I will summarize it, and then I will use my further service to teach. So that's like a balance I need to evaluate. But overall, I want to share with you that I'm so happy finally I can find some time. It's just like habits. And initially, you will always feel like, it's so difficult for me to concentrate. It's so difficult for me to start writing. And some people may want to avoid it, right? That's why many people could not finish their book for many, many years. It's just like, it's a little bit overwhelming because there's so many chapters and so much content, and especially after you have dozens of years of experience. So it's really like how to distill that kind of really essence from so many things, like from knowledge, from the surface part, but really get the essence. And at the same time, you think about there are so many great teachers and mentors and authors there already, and how you can make sure your writing is really valuable from your uniqueness, but at the same time have that kind of a depth to really help people and think about the values and the problems we're solving, and what's the meaning, what's the value, what's the results this book can generate. So that's another important mission for me to think about as well. So I'm just want to share with you my current experience and my process I'm in now, and wondering if you published your book. I know we have quite in my network, we are not lack of authors. We're so many great authors there. We all have a wonderful experience, life stories, and wisdom to share. So, but I'm not intimidated. I just know that everyone's unique, everyone's special, and my experience, and nobody can replace me. So I definitely want to get my challenge is really get the best and the most depth from it. But compared with quite a few years ago when I was experiencing that kind of dramatic experience, life-changing, I now really feel like I'm ready. I'm ready to get the best part and get all the wisdom God taught me, and all the the wonderful and so dramatic life experiences out, and share the essence and the lessons God wanted me to share with the world. So I know I'm ready. So it's just a time issue, and I'm just in this kind of a prayer kind of status as well, where I'm writing. I want God to bless me with this process, and let me really enjoy the process every day, the writing, every minute and every word I'm writing there. But at the same time, I'm praying that God use me to really express the message He wants me to express. I do not want to get get fame through a book, become just a best-selling book author. I really want to have a book that is so valuable that people would love to read it, and after they read it, they will feel so inspired and empowered that could really help them to take actions to start create the life and the business they want. Then that will be the purpose. So while I'm writing, I'm further clarifying my purpose on writing this book and the results and impact I want to generate through it. The values I want to bring to people. So I hope I'm in your prayers as well, and help me to really get this lifelong book. It's almost like let's say all the experience relevant to this book. It's over 20. Let's say I got 23 years. It's really over 23 years of both life experience and also my coaching practice. And if we count as my earlier age is totally not 23 years, but 23 years isn't really like conscious years. But together will be over 40 years, kind of a life experience and the wisdom and lessons, especially lessons I learned from life itself, and the recent 10 years through the business, the coaching practice, all the ups and downs, all the failures, all the lessons I learned, all those ones are really worth my writing. But I will not write all of the things, but only the essences, only the the wisdom behind the lessons, and that's the best one I could contribute to the world. So hope you are praying for me as well, so I could really bear the fruit that God wants me to get out to deliver to the world through my years of including the joy, including the sufferings, include all this kind of up and downs, like extreme experiences. I think it's time now, really, for me, the right time and the ready time for me to get that into the words, into a published book, and present to the world, to have the values, to share the values, and instead of just like getting into a more like systematic way, instead of just like a piece by piece or just here and there, but really a comprehensive, systematic way to share my life stories and share the wisdom I learned through all these years, and share the best things I learned through life itself, through business practice, and through the guidance from God. And thank you so much for your support through this journey. I can't wait for that day. I don't know how many days later, but I really can't wait for that day. So hope I will hold this excitement and share that final announcement with you quite soon in upcoming future days. Thank you so much for staying with me, and wish you all enjoy your Monday and have a productive and also enjoyable whole week. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.